Okay, I'm just going to give it a minute for people to show up and come in a little bit. Okay, welcome to everybody who's entering. We're going to wait about a minute or so, let a lot of people, get here and get in, and then we'll start our program. Let's see. Oh, good evening, Cole. It's got a nice little opening message. Okay. What we're gonna do is, hold on, I'm just, if I can figure out how to do this. There we go. Okay. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody who has taken the time tonight to join us. We really appreciate that you're here. My name is Laura McCluskey. I am with the ANJEE group, and I'm currently working with some of the programs to get our message out over Zoom during this strange time that we're still in. So this is part of our Zoom, our spring Zoom forum. And if you're new to ANJEE, I just want to remind you that we have a huge network throughout the state. If you're not a member and would like to be, it's not that expensive, and you can go to anjee.org and you can register to be a member, and that way you get our emails and our other Zoom information, our other Zoom programs, which we've been having quite a few lately. And we are going to be continuing this series. We have a couple more in this particular spring series, but I think we'll be doing another one probably going into the summer, and hopefully we'll have something for everybody. So we encourage you to become a member and to become an active part of our organization. So tonight we have a special program. It's called Green Careers in New Jersey. Green obviously meaning careers in the environmental field. And we have a variety of speakers tonight who will talk to you about what we can do as far as being in a green career for not only finding careers to go into, but also advancing in the career that you're in. Okay, so we're going to start off. I'm going to start off by introducing Kerri Lombardi, and she works with the Clean Energy Program, and I will let Kerri take it from here.
Thank you so much, Laura. We're really happy to be here tonight to talk to all of you about green careers. So our presentation tonight's gonna touch a little bit on about a few things. The green careers job market and employment trends. We'll also talk a little bit about policy and the American Jobs Plan. And we're gonna go into a little bit of practical info about how you can get started or find a green career. And we're also going to give you a little bit of an overview about New Jersey's Clean Energy Program to sort of help frame tonight's conversation. So as we go through, if you wouldn't mind keeping yourselves muted, but please make good use of the chat box to enter any questions that you have, because we're going to have a Q&A at the end, and we really want to hear from you. So we are going to also provide you with all the materials, the slides. So anything you see here tonight, you're going to get in writing. So you don't have to worry about writing down links or, because we're going to share a lot of resources and great information. So you'll have that. So as Laura mentioned, my name is Kerri Lombardi. I am the outreach coordinator for the residential division of New Jersey's Clean Energy Program. I'm joined tonight by a few of my colleagues, Sandy Eisner, Michele Calabrese, and also via video, we have with us Hap Haven. So you're going to get some really good insights onto a well-rounded perspective of some green careers. Next slide. So, we thought it would be a good jumping off point for each of us to give you a little bit about our career paths, so you would, know who you were talking to, and it would help, again, frame the conversation. So, I'm one of those people that, it might look there that I did a lot of moving around, but in my professional life. But one thing I always knew was that I needed to have what's commonly called today an impact career. I always needed to have a job where I felt like I was doing something important, something that gave me meaning or had a sense of purpose or value, not just in my life, but I wanted to do something good for, the planet or and in this case, the environment. So if you're here tonight, or if you're interested in green careers, maybe you're one of those people too, because these are definitely what I would call impact careers. So my job background, I'm going to start at the bottom, actually. I would have what you might consider not a very traditional start. My first foray into the work world was as a professional musician and entertainer. I went to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. I was touring all over the country. I put out albums. I mean, I really thought that was going to be my life's plan. Now, I mentioned a moment ago that you're going to hear from Hap Haven via video. Hap's going to mention something about how sometimes we hit what are called potholes, professional potholes in our lives. And those are things that put us on a completely different path. And that was true in my case. I hit a major pothole. My daughter got very sick, and she actually developed ovarian cancer at 15 months old. She needed medical care and surgery. And I don't know if you know this about the music industry, but unless you're Lady Gaga or Bruce Springsteen, it doesn't pay very well. And it doesn't usually come with medical benefits. So, that ended up being a really important turning point for me, because I went back to school and I decided to get a job in, something more stable in corporate America. But I still needed that job to have those driving moral imperatives for me. I needed to have that impact career. So I met with a counselor. I read this book called What Color Is Your Parachute? And that helped me define what my real intrinsic talents were and where my skills and my strengths lied. And so, we determined that I would be best suited in a job in marketing or events. And so, that's the kind of stuff I got into. I also happen to be vegetarian. I also volunteer at an animal rescue place. And a friend of mine is an environmental advocate, and she worked for a company called Clear Result. And that's how I came to work for New Jersey's clean energy program. And all of these things collided to make a great career that just matched everything I cared about and was well suited for the things I do well. And I want to say, if as we go through the presentation tonight, if you're here to learn about how and why you might get started in this sort of field, I mean, a little bit of advice is to do exactly that. If, decide what you really are passionate about, because there's a career for anybody. And we'll talk a little bit about a running theme tonight will be how any career can be a green career. So just tie what you're good at with what you care about, and you'll be on the right track. Next slide. So enough about me. We'd like to hear from you. If you could make use of the chat box, we've outlined for you here some of the most common or most popular green careers. We'd love to see your feedback. What green career area are you most interested in? Just going to take a look here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Education, renewable energy, sustainable development, policy, climate, science, research, everything. It runs the gambit, and I'm not surprised. We have a great eclectic group of people here with ANJEE, as we always do at these events. So next slide, Sandy. Okay, as I said, a little bit of background about the Clean Energy Program. It's administered by New Jersey's Board of Public Utilities. It's funded by something called the Societal Benefits Charge. That's a little charge on all of our energy bills. Everyone in New Jersey that pays the utility bill contributes to it. And all of those little fees go into a big pool, and that's what funds this program and the rebates. And the program goals are to provide education, change behavior, and provide opportunity for all New Jersey residents to reduce energy and lower operating costs, to protect the environment and lower emissions, and to meet our governor's goal of being 100% clean energy by 2050. Next slide. So now, as we go forward, both the state and utility companies have committed to these goals that you see there. So for electric, it's to be at least 2% average annual energy reductions. And for gas, it's at least 0.75% annual energy reductions. Now, the structure of these programs that we're discussing tonight is about to change, but we'll show you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But those are the basic goals of the Clean Energy Act. Next slide. And as I'm sure you're all aware, in 2019, the Energy Master Plan was set up to help us achieve the goals of the Clean Energy Act. Next slide. Okay, so what is energy efficiency? It's pretty simple. Energy efficiency is using technology that requires less energy to perform the same function. Next slide. And what are the benefits of energy efficiency? Well, energy efficiency helps reduce greenhouse gas emissions and mitigates climate impacts, and that improves health conditions, which is something we all care about, especially today. Energy efficiency projects lower your energy costs, especially for people in low to moderate income households. And very relevant to tonight's topic, energy efficiency projects are labor intensive. So increased energy efficiency projects strengthen the job market. Next slide. So now here is the entire portfolio of programs of the Clean Energy Program. We have renewable energy, specialized energy efficiency, commercial and industrial, distributed energy resources, and residential. Next slide. Program performance. I love to show these slides because, as I said earlier, you know, we're so lucky that we get to work for a program that has such an incredibly positive impact on the environment. So in fiscal year 20 alone, New Jersey's Clean Energy Program processed over 141,000 applications. And that's energy savings delivered through electric, gas, oil, and other efficiencies and generation. And we paid out over $145 million in incentives, rebates. So the program was hugely successful in fiscal year 20. And you know, what does that mean to us? How does that help the planet? Well, it brings these real world results. The Clean Energy Programs eliminated enough CO2 in just 1 year that equates to us having taken up over 159,000 cars off the road, or planting over 12 million trees, or 763,909 metric tons of greenhouse gases eliminated. So incredible things that the Clean Energy Program is doing. And by your participation in our programs, you are helping to deliver those goals and help meet the governor's Clean Energy Program goals. Next slide. I'm very happy and honored to introduce you now to Sandy Eisner, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the job market. Sandy?
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks, Kerri Ann, so much for the introduction. I'm going to be speaking to you briefly about my own green career path, like Kerri Ann's, a little jaggy, as well as sharing with you a little bit more information about the green jobs picture and giving you some ideas for potentially future career paths. I'll also be introducing you to two more of our colleagues in New Jersey's Clean Energy Program who will share their stories as well. So you may have found, as I did and as Kerri Ann did, that sometimes the career path doesn't always take a straight line. And as an account manager at New Jersey's Clean Energy Program, which is what I do now, I work with contractors and the public, educating and helping with our rebate programs and applications. And I also present educational and programming in a variety of different groups like this. Like Kerri Ann, I'm really excited that I get to go to work every day knowing that I'm helping to do something good for the planet. But I started my career in clean energy as an account manager in dirty energy. I worked for an oil company and I worked with the public in a service and sales role. And I decided that there had to be a better way. And I saw the light and I searched for a career in solar. And at the time, that was quite a while ago, there weren't that many people doing solar, especially women. And I worked in that field for actually over 10 years in many roles. I was in sales and project management and business development. And while I was in the solar field, I met the team at New Jersey's Clean Energy Program, and I was recruited for the outreach account manager position I currently have. And you wouldn't think that working for a lobbying organization or being a commercial photographer, which is what I have my bachelor's in, both of which I did for many years in the early part of my career, would have brought me to my current green career. But I did develop a fearlessness while canvassing for the organization and crazy attention to detail as a photographer in the days of film when we couldn't Photoshop out imperfections. So I think we take what we learned from each position, like Kerri Ann did as well, and it broadens and deepens us, and we take all that experience on to the next. So I just want to share a really quick overview of the programs that we work with on the residential side here at New Jersey's Clean Energy Program. And then you might have some ideas, some more ideas about the different things that people here do relative to our programs. So we have home performance with Energy Star. This is our comprehensive whole house program. We have Warm and Cool Advantage, and that's an equipment rebate program. It provides rebates for high efficiency equipment. So that's some of the things that you do when you buy new stuff. And then there's the energy efficient products rebates. When you buy energy efficient Energy Star refrigerators, freezers, washers, dryers, things like that, there are individual rebates for that equipment. Or if you're building a new house from the ground up, there are incentives to build to high efficiency home standards, 100% gut rehabbing or from the ground up, Energy Star and zero energy ready levels. And then we have a free income qualified program called Comfort Partners for homeowners and renters for upgrades to lighting and efficiency and other things in the home. So this is kind of what we work through, all of us in New Jersey's Clean Energy Program. And I do need to let you know that on July 1st, many of our programs will actually transition over to the utilities, including existing buildings and efficient products, both residential and commercial. And there is an expectation of some new programs, dedicated multifamily, more financing, quick home energy checkups, and things like that. And by the time we're done with this presentation, you might be thinking about some other jobs that relate to that as well. So some of the programs will be staying with New Jersey's Clean Energy Program there on the left. And I direct you to our website at njcleanenergy.com/transition to learn more about the transition. As things continue to change, you can continue to visit that page and there will be frequently asked questions answered for you. So let's talk a little bit about jobs, which is what we're here for. So at the start of 2020, the clean energy sector was setting the curve for workforce development and was one of the fastest growing sectors in the country, with over 10% increase in jobs since 2010 and employing more than 3.3 million Americans. In her article in Green Biz, Sarah Golden, who's a senior energy analyst, she breaks down the whys of clean energy jobs, and that's what I want to talk to you about here, how important they are. So clean energy, and you're hearing a lot about this now from our administration, help to put people back to work. Clean energy employers, they're everywhere all over the country, and they provide economic diversity. Imagine the potential for jobs as the states and the utilities work toward their 100% clean energy goals. Jobs are there for people at every educational level, from construction to manufacturing to investors, engineers. The sector is inclusive. And the clean energy economy is a great investment. So once jump-started, the clean energy industry can hold its own. In terms of helping vulnerable communities, Clean energy upgrades like energy efficiency retrofits and rooftop solar would be and will be the gift that keeps on giving during shaky economic times to disadvantaged communities. And getting clean energy right will help to make us more resilient and more secure. So prioritizing energy security, which we're looking towards right now, and Michaela's going to talk some about, and resilience has the desired side effect of reducing emissions, which is imperative to slow the climate crisis. So every dollar invested in resilience saves us multifold in the future. And in the words of Bob Keefe, he's an executive director at E2, which is a clean energy leadership group. Clean energy can get the most people back to work in the most occupations in the least amount of time. Why wouldn't we do that? So realize that these figures are fluid at present, but these are some of the highlights from 2019, that first full year we had that went all the way through the end of the year. It illustrates an upward trend and a bright future in clean energy jobs. So some of the highlights: solar alone employed more than twice the number of coal workers. That makes me smile. Wind and solar accounted for nearly 2 out of every 5 construction jobs in the electric generation sector. More Americans worked in energy efficiency, like the 4 of us, than there are waiters and waitresses in America's bars and restaurants. And I've done that too. More than 1 out of every 3 employees working in the energy sector are involved in energy efficiency. So we're a big part of the energy, the clean energy picture. And 2/3 of the US clean jobs are involved in construction and manufacturing. So I'm here to tell you the trend is up. This is the future. And COVID is a blip on the clean energy jobs screen. So a career in energy, it's not just about science and technology, but it can be. It's AI, it's data, construction, every aspect of the workforce you can imagine. And you're going to hear us say that again and again. According to the Department of Energy's Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy, wind turbine technician and solar installers are 2 of the fastest growing occupations in America. And the growing demand for cars that both save money and create less pollution, we're talking a lot about electric cars, right? Has built a need for skilled engineers and chemists and mechanics. So building more environmentally sustainable buildings and houses requires an expertise across a whole range of professions in design and construction, from architects and engineers to carpenters, heavy equipment operators. And it's expected that the global market for net zero energy homes will explode to almost 79 billion by 2025 due to new high performance products and renewable energy and automation technologies and advancements in codes and policies. Many of you might have seen that article a little while ago in the New York Times about concrete. Not the most exciting, pieces of our building science, but it's in everything. If you look around, concrete's in everything, and it's actually responsible for 8% of global carbon emissions. So there are several companies that are working to create a greener mix, and that science could be anyone out there. There are vast job opportunities for making existing buildings more efficient and sustainable, and energy efficiency is one of the core components to achieve our carbon neutrality by 2050. So while recent events have impacted all aspects of job creation, in New Jersey and here in the whole country and really across the whole world, opportunities in clean energy, it's really one of the most innovative sectors of the economy. They are looking to be coming back a little faster than the rest of the economy, driven by our new administration and with climate and clean energy goals, as well as state, both on the federal and state level, state benchmarks and requirements. And as Kerri mentioned, here in New Jersey, our clean energy goal, the governor's energy master plan, it's 100% carbon neutral electricity generation by 2050. And as a result of the industry's consistent growth, clean energy accounted for more than 40% of America's entire energy workforce at the end of 2019. And again, as you can see in the chart, it's very small, but energy efficiency remained the single biggest sector of the clean energy economy and added the most new jobs across the entire sector. So let's talk about the subsets. And I know these are really small and there's lots of numbers on there, but according to the Environmental Defense Fund, the supportive policies and investments have driven the growth in 4 main areas. And these are the main areas for clean jobs: energy efficiency, renewable energy, grid and storage, and clean vehicles. And if we were to break down all these main categories of clean energy, you'll see that there are many subsets of clean energy jobs within each category and more subsets within those subsets. So for example, the energy efficiency category, you have jobs as diverse as lighting and HVAC, which is heating, ventilating, and air conditioning, and advanced materials, renewable energy, you have solar, wind, geothermal, bioenergy, and low impact hydro. And you remember me talking about my own career, I had 3 or 4 different job titles within just solar. So there's so many opportunities here in the clean energy sector. We're here also to talk about New Jersey. So you might be interested to know that electric power generation employs almost 22,000 workers in New Jersey, with solar making up the largest segment of employment related to electric power generation. And clean energy workers are a huge and important part of New Jersey's workforce. So we know from our country's last economic crisis that the clean energy can lead the way to recovery. And the largest number of the energy efficiency employees are working in traditional HVAC, followed by Energy Star and efficient lighting. Energy efficiency is also focused in the construction sector, with energy efficient construction making up 13% of New Jersey's construction workforce, of the entire workforce. So I'd like to introduce another of my esteemed colleagues here at New Jersey's Clean Energy Program, Hap Haven. He is not going to be able to be with us today live, but he compiled a short synopsis of his extraordinary green career to share with you today. So.
Hi, my name is Hap Haven. I work with the other professionals on this webinar,
Sorry about that.
and I'm very happy to be here today, even though it's not in person. This presentation is a snapshot of my green career, which has now spanned 40 years. I currently hold 6 Building Performance Institute certifications. I have a bachelor's in environmental design, think green architecture. I almost have a master's in landscape architecture. That's one of the biggest potholes in my career, and I'll come back to that in a minute. I've pioneered the home systems approach toward energy education while running 3 different energy model homes. I've been an energy, solar, and moisture auditor. I've also been a DOE technical field observer, which took me all over the country looking at cool solar, wind, and efficiency projects. I was elected to the BPI Hall of Fame in 2011. I'm an award-winning gardener and an author. Green careers can be deep into ecology and environmental justice, but you can also create a green career through any job. All you have to do is focus on how to make the job environmentally sustainable. You can be a green dentist, homemaker, garbage collector, scientist, or whatever you want to pursue. Let's go back to the pothole I talked about earlier. I came within a few credits of receiving my master's in landscape architecture, and I'm sharing that with you now because every road to success has curves and potholes. Your career will have potholes too. Maybe COVID-19 has turned into a pothole for you, but maybe, just maybe, it will actually work to your advantage somehow. Here's my short story about a major pothole earlier in my green career. My mother died while I was in graduate school. This event was traumatizing for me. My father had died when I was 5, and my brother had his own life all the way across the country. I was in shock and alone during the Christmas holiday, so I took a part-time job to stay occupied. I couldn't see what was next on my road when I took this part-time job, but it ended up changing the direction of my life and my career. What I didn't tell you was that the part-time job I took was doing design work for Wallace McHarg, Roberts & Todd, one of the world's most prestigious landscape architecture and architecture firms in the 1970s and 80s. Ian McHarg literally wrote the book called Design with Nature and had started the entire eco-design revolution. Working for WMRT showed me that I did not want to create a career working with an elite landscape design firm. When I look back at this time in my life, I now see that my mother's death led to a unique job opportunity that gave me the information I needed to change my career path. With landscape architecture in my rearview mirror, I started my first energy model home in 1981. This happened because I spent time networking and volunteering in the alternative architecture and solar communities. Everyone, including the local gas company, thought it would be a great idea to have a house where people could actually see and touch energy efficient solutions. This included a rooftop garden, a passive solar water heater, and much, much more. The kids in our after-school club even provided the local police and firefighters free solar car washes on the weekend. Here's my takeaway, having started 3 nonprofit and 2 for-profit corporations, as well as having been a director of operations in charge of hiring. When you apply for a job, know the people by networking and volunteering. Over time, identify what problems they have associated with their businesses, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And spend your own time trying to solve these problems. Okay, you need to create value for yourself and for the company. As you pursue your green career, please understand that hiring someone is a big deal. It takes time and resources that companies don't like to spend. You need to be a known commodity with a proven track record. Referrals are key because they build trust, and trust gets you hired. Fast forward to my current home and 3rd model home. It's known as the Sunhaven Carriage House. Over the years, we have run just about every manner of solar, recycling, water harvesting, and material reclamation workshop you can imagine. And of course, we've hit a few potholes along the way. One of the biggest failures was not understanding all the moving parts to a rain barrel water harvesting system. Way before there was a water harvesting industry, rainwater was commonly collected on farms in 55-gallon barrels. These barrels often overflowed, but who cared? It was on the farm. This is a classic case where an established system doesn't translate well to a new situation. Overflowing rain barrels are a big problem next to a house. Not only did we get moisture problems in the house, we also got termites in the raised garden beds you see here. In fact, the red paint is really the only thing supporting the garden beds. The termites ate all the wood. The rain barrel used to be here, where you see the trash can. We removed it and the entire vegetable garden. Next, we connected the gutter to a 3-inch pipe boxed inside of this trellis. This one colossal pothole taught us a lot about rainwater collection and storage. This trellis is now topped off with honeysuckle and trumpet vines. The gutter is piped 12 feet away from the house to the new rain barrel. The barrel has an overflow pipe that carries extra water to a dry stream bed that recharges groundwater in our rain garden. I now have 6 different water storage, reuse, and recharge systems around the garden, including this patio that allows rainwater to drain through to a collection system and pipes the water to my apple orchard. There's so much more to talk about, but I'm out of time. Do me a favor. Please set your career sights high, power them with passion, and enjoy the ride. Thank you so much for listening.
Well, what an extraordinary green career. And he is with us working on our team. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about our company and the kinds of jobs that you might find at Clear Results. So we're actually program implementers. We are responsible basically for executing clean energy programs like New Jersey's Clean Energy Program. And at Clear Result, we design and deliver all sorts of solutions that affect residential clients. So there's so many different types of positions in a company that implements clean energy programs. And these are just a small sampling that are available in a company like Clear Result. There's program management, which has to do with directing many aspects of the program itself and contract negotiations. Field management, working with folks in the field, the inspectors and the auditors and the technical crew. The account management, overseeing the trade allies who are our contractors doing the work. Market outreach, which is what myself and my colleagues do, developing program awareness and recruiting trade allies and delivering on our client goals in regards to outreach activity. Incentive management. We talked a lot about the rebates, but someone has to process all those applications and do all sorts of reporting on that. Incentive support, processors, customer representatives, analysts, operations management, building scientists. We have so many technical experts and trainers on our team. Technical management, so bringing building science expertise to clients. And proposal development, so developing proposals in accordance with requests for proposals, like from utilities and various public service commissions, and strategy. And then there's energy audits and auditors and legal and training and development and talent acquisition and business consulting, marketing, IT, just all within a company. And this is a small sampling of the types of jobs that implement programs. So as you can see, there are so many different types of green jobs out there. And my colleague at Clear Result, Michele Calabrese, is going to speak with us next about his own green career and then take you on to some more information about the jobs and the country picture.
Great. Thank you so much, Sandy, and thank you for all that great information. So hi, everyone. My name is Michele Calabrese, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my career path and how I got to where I am today. And like, if you're getting anything out of today's presentation with Sandy and Kerri Ann, we all took very different paths to how we got to where we are. So no matter where you are, if you want to go into energy efficiency, clean energy, solar, there's all sorts of paths to get you to where you want to go. So my story, I graduated Fordham University in 2012, which feels like a couple of days ago, but is actually 9 years ago. And it's feeling scary each moment I think about that. But when I got to Fordham, I majored in environmental policy and I minored in business administration. And just to give you an idea of how things have changed, when I got there, environmental policy wasn't a major until the second half of my freshman year. So just in 9 years, we've seen a lot of changes in what's available, for students to major in a college, and the energy efficiency, clean energy policy, it's all become more and more prevalent. And when I got out of school, things did not go as well as I was hoping. It wasn't the best start. I applied to energy efficiency, sustainability jobs around the entire country. I mean, Illinois, Kentucky, California, Tennessee, you name the state, I probably applied there. And places I applied, I got less than 10 interviews. Most of them were on the phone. So what I was doing was just not working for me. And it was really frustrating. I'd gotten this degree, I was looking forward to getting in the field, and I just couldn't make any progress. Next slide. So at the time, I was working at a retail store, and I was essentially like it was a store within a store at Best Buy. It was a Samsung store, and I actually managed a store, and I worked with a couple of my friends. So I was enjoying my work, it was great, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. So what I decided to do is I actually went on LinkedIn and I went to the Alumni Association of Fordham, and I just sent a blind message to anyone in the energy efficiency, in the clean energy, sustainability. I just put the word energy and sustainability as a key word for people who worked at Fordham, who went to Fordham. I just put that as a job or a description keyword. And I just sent a blind message out. And the message, I wasn't asking for a job. I just said, look, I'm really struggling here. If you could just take a few minutes to talk with me. I'm thinking about going back to school, thinking about changing my career path. Any advice you'd have, I really would appreciate. And from that, I got 3 or 4 responses. Some people were very kind. They talked to me, but I didn't get anything until about 3 months later, when I spoke with someone and we had a talk, and the next day she said, hey, I think I have a job for you that you might want to interview for. So I went and interviewed, and I ended up working there at Willdan Energy Solutions on the outreach and data center ends. And if you're not familiar with data centers, it's, you think all those cloud facilities where all the internet processing power is coming from, it's there. But that was really my foothold into the energy efficiency industry. And from there, I've worked in data centers, like I said. I've worked on the commercial side, industrial, multifamily, and now I'm on the residential side. So I've had the opportunity to work in a lot of different areas in our field, and it's been very exciting. It was not a traditional path. I really struggled, and I was just very persistent. And just being persistent, I think Kerri Ann, Sandy, Hap, they can all say it's one of the most important things, being persistent and having the passion for what you want to do. Next slide, please. So a little bit about the clean energy plan and what's going on at a federal level, in relation to the Biden administration. And, we're talking more in energy efficiency than we are with previous administrations, regardless of our politics here. But, Biden has called climate change an existential threat and has ambitious plans to make the US carbon neutral by 2050. And everything I'm talking about here is very fluid. So I was on a webinar 3 days ago or 2 days ago. And this is a Department of Energy people who knew about policy. And they were saying, what I just have here is a week old and it's already out of date. So everything can change a little bit. But this is just generically what we're looking at right now. We're looking to $2 trillion to an accelerated clean energy investment development goal, target dates for zero carbon production and net zero emissions for new buildings, creation of a national council on workforce development in the White House to oversee the creation of clean energy jobs. And Sandy talked about that already. We're doing a great job. This is going to see more federal funding to boost that. And then 100% clean energy transportation commitment and 100% clean energy economy commitment, which is actually something we see in New Jersey as well in our New Jersey Energy Master Plan. So pretty similar goals, and a goal of reducing emissions by 50% by 2035. So these are really ambitious goals, which is going to require a lot of careers for people. Next slide, please. And the American Jobs Plan. So this is up to date as of Monday, but like I said, this all changes. This included 174 billion in spending to boost the electrical vehicle market. If you've looked at the ads recently, I think GM has just 15, 20 electric cars coming in the next 5 years just on their own. So electric cars are here to stay, and we need people manufacturing those electric cars, people selling those electric cars. There's a lot of work that's going to go into that. $100 billion in funding to update the country's electric grid and make it more resilient to worsening climate disasters. For those of us from on the East Coast in New Jersey, New York, we know that these are things that happen. Hurricane Sandy was not that long ago, so we want to expand that infrastructure. There's also was $213 billion to build, preserve, and retrofit more than 2 million affordable homes. This is a lot of construction jobs and making sure that people are comfortable at all levels of income. And there's a few other things. We're establishing a $27 billion clean energy and sustainability accelerator to mobilize private investment into distributed energy resources. And we're also processing the creation of an energy efficiency and clean electricity standard. So, this is mandating that a portion of US electricity comes from zero carbon sources like wind and solar power. Wind power is something we see even in Texas, which is considered, everyone thinks, oh, Texas, oil, but it's the largest producer of wind in the entire country. Next slide, please. A few other things. There's the Hope for Homes Act, which is going to provide $6 to $16 billion to create incentives for homeowners to invest in energy efficiency improvements via a multi-part rebate program. And, we have rebates on the state level with the Clean Energy Program. We'll have them with utilities, and we already do now. And we'll also be federal rebates as well. And then there's the SAVE Act, which would allow energy efficiency improvements to be taken into accounts during appraisals. While all these things may not be related to jobs, these are all things that are going to require people working in these industries with all this money here. So it really looks like an optimistic time to be in the energy efficiency, the sustainability, the policy, the clean energy world. Next slide, please. And advice to get started. I think, as I've said, and I'll say it again, we all took different paths to get here, right? But I think one of the most important things was being open-minded. And, any career can play a role to make the kind of impact you want. So, you might be working in energy efficiency in a job like ours, or you might be installing solar panels, or you might just be an accountant who works with energy efficient or green companies. Energy efficiency, clean energy, how you get into this industry, it's kind of up to you. And there's just a lot of paths there. And the passion is really the most important thing, making sure that you're inspired by what you're working on. Kerri Ann touched on it earlier, but we all want to feel, happy about what we're working on. Next slide, please. So finding job opportunities. We're on one right now, but joining an environmental organization, Sustainability Association, it's a great time to network and talk with people about what they're doing, get involved. Getting an internship at a company where you want to work. If this is not for everyone, but I know I interned at an environmental company in college, and I was able to, get a foothold in the environmental world and talk to people there. Also volunteering, there's a lot of great nonprofits looking for volunteers, and even if, you're not getting a job from that, it might be something that reignites a passion for you. You go, oh my gosh, I really want to work with this organization in the future. And if I can work here 4, 8, 10 hours a week, I'd feel really happy about that in addition to my normal job. Being a local advocate, you can start your own green projects. You can join a green team in your town or job. For example, my friends and I, when we were in college, we started our own organization called Recycling Furniture. And I'm sure everyone here is familiar with Habitat for Humanity, but they build these great homes for people. But when they build the homes, there's actually no furniture or anything that goes into them. I mean, they can only do so much. So what our organization did is we actually took in furniture donations from the community. And with the help of the local high school, we refinished all the furniture in environmentally friendly ways, and then had it for the 6 families who were in that Habitat for Humanity pod, making sure they all had furniture to move in. And that was just something we were able to work with the help of, school administrators giving us space to store these things. But, we were just a couple college kids who were able to get this done. And, if you put your mind to it, you can really get anything you want done. LinkedIn, I already touched on that a little bit. And then there's other resources, New Jersey utility sites, New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development. You have your traditional websites like Indeed.com, Monster.com, and then there's salary sites. So if you're looking at a position and trying to figure out how much you might be making, you can see, typical salaries for that position. And it's a really great resource for negotiations if you end up getting the position. Next slide, please. So this is a quote from Stephen Chu. He's a physicist. He was the 12th US Secretary of Energy, and he's a Nobel laureate as well. And he said, as the saying goes, the Stone Age did not end because we ran out of stones. We transitioned to better solutions. The same opportunity lies before us with energy efficiency and clean energy. We're very fortunate. We've developed a lot of great technology, solar, wind, that keeps getting more and more efficient. And we're going to continue to do that. And that's just going to get more and more efficient. But we're going to need people working in these industries. And that's why I don't think there's ever been a better outlook for the energy efficiency, green job space. Next slide, please. If you're interested in learning a little bit more, we have the Clean Energy Learning Center. And this is just for general knowledge, but it's a free online education tool. And the audience is really anyone. You could be a design professional, an energy efficiency professional, or just someone who's interested in the space and wants to learn a little bit more. But this is a really great resource. And we're sending all these slides out, so you'll be getting this. Don't worry about that. Next slide, please. And these are some other resources and links we wanted to include that you can take a look at. But, there's a lot of great stuff out there. And next slide. We have more information on our website about the Clean Energy Program as well as contact information if you want to learn a little bit more about Clean Energy Program, submitting rebates for your home. But next slide. We're going to the question slide here. But yes, I think that's really all we had on our end. We were excited to talk here today. And I think, like I said, if you get anything out of today's presentation, Sandy, Kerri Ann, and I all took very different paths to get where we are today. So whether you're just starting out or you've been working for a long time, there's probably some sort of opportunity for you if you want to, change what you're doing and look into something else, or even if it's just volunteering. There's a lot of great opportunities out there. But I don't know if we have any questions out there, but I'm happy to take them if there are there. And Sandy and Kerri Ann can obviously answer them as well.
Yeah, Michaeli, we do have, there's a couple questions already. And I just want to, again, everybody that's here, please go ahead and drop your questions in the chat box and we will answer those. So the first one, Michaeli or Sandy, is what would a sustainability professional do, for example? What is that? Sustainability professional.
Sure, it's a pretty broad definition. It could be a multitude of things. It could be working for the National Resources Defense Council as a lawyer there, or you could be doing research into, what type of solar panels are best for your home or for other people's homes. I mean, it's such a broad definition, and there's just so many opportunities out there depending on what you want to do. I don't know if Sandy has anything to add to that. But
Well, the only thing I would also add is that all major corporations now have sustainability officers, and they often have offices of sustainability. So the people in that professional role make sure that the companies themselves meet their sustainability goals when it comes to recycling, water management of the building, all sorts of things relative to the employees. So that's another whole area in corporate America for sustainability professionals.
And we also see that on like a city level, like New York City, or state level. There's places everywhere. That's a great suggestion, Sandy.
All right, let's see. Are there any places to further sustainable building or design with farming and urban agriculture? Are there any places? Yeah.
Any
Places to further sustainable building / design with farming and urban agriculture?
I mean, I know there's education at like university levels and graduate levels for that. As far as like practical, like in the field, I wouldn't not consider myself an expert on that, but I'm sure there is. I just can't tell you any specific particular instances.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, that's a good question for Google, but I mean, there's developing a movement toward building all across all sectors, residential, commercial, industrial, in more efficient, sustainable ways. And farming is one of those many ways. So if you're specifically interested in building, the building trade relative to farms, that's like one of those subsets within a subset. You definitely would have to do some research on that. But I'm sure there's an opportunity.
Okay, let's see. Oh, somebody made a suggestion. The Yestermorrow Building and Design Program in Vermont may be helpful for the farming and urban agriculture. Okay,
Great.
next question. This is a two-part question, so let's see. As a business owner, I'm looking for help with grants to develop products and materials. I have one patent for PPE and a second patent pending as an improvement, but there were green tech I was developing at a local college, which funding was cut short and projects died due to mismanagement, which is what made my business. However, I need help. Maybe looking for some suggestions.
There is money. I mean, every state and every new administration, has a different policy on this, on money to help in development. But the Biden administration, I know that Michaela was talking about that earlier. I've read, that in one of the pages at the very end, there's E2 and E4, and there's a lot of information on what is being proposed in terms of money for research and development in technology and products and materials, anything to make things more efficient. So it all depends when you're interested and, where you're located. So I don't have any specific resources for you, but there are a lot of them out there, and there will be more relative to energy efficiency and clean energy in the next 4 years, hopefully. Got our fingers crossed.
Yes, and there are like private competitions and whatnot that do provide funding for innovations. I know, for example, like X Prize and like these larger competitions where if there's something very innovative, they do provide funding to people, as well as angel investors and things like that, depending on what you're looking to do.
Okay, great.
That's a good answer.
And also, Christopher, people are dropping some info in the chat too. There's another question here. I'm an accountant now, and I'm getting my master's in sustainability. Good for you. And looking to shift into sustainable business once I graduate. Do you have any recommendations of companies or organizations to look out for?
If you saw my grades in accounting, I'm not qualified to answer this question. Absolutely not. I don't know if I have anything in particular. I mean, there's, sustainability and green, it's such a broad definition, and there's so many opportunities out there, whether you're looking to start your own business or work under someone else. Like Sandy said, all large corporations these days have some sort of sustainability office where there's some sort of opportunity there. And if you look at a lot of these positions, they are looking for masters in, sustainability or something, which to me, a lot of times is like, oh my gosh, how many people are going to find like that? Well, you're one of those people. So that's great to see that type of experience.
Yeah,
but I don't know if Sandy has any other suggestions.
I mean, I was just remembering that event you and I did at M&M Mars, and we met some of the folks in the sustainability office that came to talk to us, and a lot of the people in that position have like financial backgrounds, so you can get data on any company you might be interested in. They're very happy to put information about their sustainability record on their websites. So, I mean, it would be a really kind of a fun research project on your part to find companies that are akin to your perspective, that are doing things that, that you would feel proud to work at a company that does, and then apply for a job there, or get to know people who you went to school with that are working there, like Michaela was talking about in terms of networking. Like it's very unusual to find someone who has an accounting background and sustainability. So that sounds like a really, really cool match.
If you work at Mars, you get really great discounts on all the candy, which
All
I
the
don't know if it's necessarily a good thing, but they have some very good discounts. So
Great advice. And also, you know, the consulting firms like Clear Result and the like. And, you know, we mentioned it earlier, but don't make LinkedIn is an absolutely great way to connect with job opportunities and resources to network and find exactly what you're looking for. So there's more resource. Sorry.
no, I was going to say, like, also, you know, there's all the utilities in New Jersey. There's so many of them, and they all have a lot of focus on financial data as well. So there's someone that is another great place to look.
Yes, great. And Mike also dropped something in here, greenjobsearch.org, and there's a link. So there's great resources in this chat. Let me see if there's any more questions. What kind of salary might I expect to make in this field?
With about, yeah, right. With about 1 million different jobs, it can be from free, no salary if you volunteer, you know, to millions of dollars if you patent a product that you know that no one else has thought of. So it really runs from soup to nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's so broad, right? You know, you have engineers who are making $100,000, $200,000 working for companies, and there's everything. I mean, there's building construction, right? You know, you have people who are doing green building and they're making tons of money because people want the latest and greatest in energy efficiency. So it's impossible to say, but there's an opportunity everywhere.
Yeah, the time is now. I mean, it's such an exciting time to try to get into this field. That's it for the questions. Mike or Laura, did you have, I think Laura was going to close out.
Just get myself together here. Okay, thank you so much for all our presenters. I just jotted down what a great program to get us started down the path of sustainable energy jobs, because I agree with you, that's going to be our future. And, you know, if jumping on it now and getting yourself trained and getting the background and getting into it is really such a wonderful opportunity. So thank you so much for your insights tonight. I want to remind everyone that our Zoom series continues April 27th. Mike Chartoff will be hosting this youth forum. If you have youth groups in your schools or your communities, they might want to join us. It's going to be a discussion with several environmental youth groups, and Mike is going to moderate that. So that would be really great to hear those young voices and ideas. And then on May 13th, we'll have teaching environmental education in the summer of COVID. May 24th is climate change, and June 10th will be a session on using inclusivity in your communications at work. So all that information is on our site at anjee.org. If you are not a member of ANJEE, please consider becoming a member. You can sign up at anjee.org. And I put one in the chat. I did put, we also have a lot of volunteer opportunities. If someone wants to try out their environmental legs a little bit, we'd be happy to have you. And is there anything else, Mike, that you wanted to finish with?
No, just again, a big thank you to Kerri Ann and our other speakers. This was really fantastic, and hopefully everybody walks away with a little more information. So thank you all so much for everybody who joined us tonight. We always appreciate you coming on with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and good luck to everyone with all your green careers.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Mike.
thanks, McKelly. Thanks,
Laura.
Andy.
Okay, thank you, Kerri Ann. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Bye. Thank you.